In our unit this week, we talk about gender and issues surrounding that. Glenn, in spirituality and sexuality, both of those play a huge role in this ambit. Could you discuss that in more depth for us?
Yeah, the linkages are very deep rooted and fundamental, and because it touches so deep within the human person, and we are sometimes struggle to talk about the subject. Much of our associations with sexuality is often negative in our contemporary culture, and so we either develop an over fascination with it and just get ourselves in trouble, burn ourselves with this fire, or we try and stay far away from it as possible. Which is not helpful to the Christian, it's not helpful to our spirituality. If it is so fundamental to who we are, it is critically important that we understand the role that plays within our spiritual lives. And in fact, it's a core and central principle of our spiritual lives. The desire that God has made us in His image, as we've discussed elsewhere in the course, and that infers on us spiritual nature, but it also brings with us male and female that God makes us. And so we have a feminine or a masculine spirituality. But what lies at the deepest part of it, and if we don't understand this is where we often get it wrong, is at the deepest part of us we're made in the image of a God who connects, who is in relationship.
Yes.
So when we're made in the image of that God, then we too long for connection. So all that our behaviors that land up on the outside of us are coming from deep within our spiritual natures, which is the need and hunger for connection. So there's also the other one, which we'll pick up when we talk about work, is the need to create. So we're made in the image of a God who creates and connects, and we need to create and connect. The one line we'll pick up when we talk about work, because that's how we express our creativity through our work and through art and just everyday things. But the one that concerns this particular lecture is the one that our need for connection. So I've created a new graphic that is not part of the original notes, which we'll stick up on the website. And so it starts with this basic need for us, or desire, to express ourselves and through connection. And so what I've done is I've created a graphic that takes us from connection and into intimacy, relationship, morality, reason, beauty, imagination. All of those ideas and concepts are an expression of our need to connect and create. And then when that expression finds fulfillment in our bodies, we actually do something. Then we create an artwork, we produce a good, we serve someone, we help nurse someone, we make food, we express it through friendship. Then now we're back on the connection side. I need to connect, and it's out of my fundamental nature as a spiritual being, a sexual being, that I want to connect. And so that leads me to touch. It leads me to the expression of sexuality itself, physical sex, but it also leads me to friendship. So the way that it works out is that friendship is something I look for in a marriage partner, but there I also look for intimacy. So I want to bring the two together. But what I'm expressing deep down is my need for connection. And that's a spiritual fundamental.
Yeah.
Does that kind of make it a little clearer?
It does indeed. What I was just thinking about as you were speaking was, what about the lack of connection then? How does that affect our spirituality? Or does it?
Yeah, it deeply affects it, because as we look, we find that, we've got pornography addictions, we've got all sorts of weird stuff taking place. So on the connection side, we look for that connection even in the wrong places. We look for it in all the wrong places most often. In a broken world, a world that is tainted by sin, marred by sin. So the problem is we want to restore that. As Christians in relationship with God, in our spiritual lives, we want to actually go back to what sex was meant to be, sexuality was meant to be. It pushes us into friendship, and it draws us into worship of God. It lies in our love of nature. Each of that is actually desire.
Yes. But
now properly channeled under the right circumstances. So people are not asexual. There's no one like that. If a person becomes a nun, they don't stop being male or female. They don't stop being feminine or masculine. So we've just turned this whole thing into physical expression. So our need for connection will draw us into all sorts of things, but some are healthy for us and some are very unhealthy.
Absolutely. That's so interesting to understand, and I'm sure we can go far deeper in that. And I'm sure that as you get involved in the forum on the unit page, we want you to express yourselves and think out of the box, and even ask questions of Glenn and I as you do this, because this is deep. This is very, very deep. And as I say, ask those questions that you have never really wanted to ask anyone, let alone your pastor, perhaps. But ask us, and we will guide you through that. It's very, very important. Thanks a lot, Glenn. That's been an eye opener. Thank you.